What is up? Welcome back to Softcore History. I am your host for the week, Rob Fox. And as always, I am joined by Dan Regester and Jake Goldman, and we're here to talk some history. But before we do, I do have a couple little house cleaning things at the top. First off, please go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and leave a review. We've got some good ones. We'll save those for the end. There was one that I think one that we really liked.
Quite a few. Yeah.
There was, I
appreciate you actually introducing us, though, rather than just going right into the house cleaning.
Yes, I felt...
Because you've done it quite a few times.
The house cleaning is more important, but I was being polite.
It's almost as if you have never hosted a podcast before.
I'm here too.
I'm more interested in getting likes and reviews than telling people your names.
Because you're a slut for validation, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell them how much you like me, and then say what's his name and who's it's what's. It's fucking
Ron and
Don and Jeff.
Yeah.
And Reginald.
I thought your guys' names were Don and Jeff, to be quite honest. Like, I thought that was accurate. Ron, I assume, was a typo. It's NB. They're literally next
I have a
to each other
10-year
on the
rule.
keyboard.
I have to know you for 10 years before I actually know your name.
Okay.
That's a fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair rule.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, just try to remember their name before you...
And I've only known you guys for 9, so...
You've known who I am for 10.
Oh, what a dumb flex.
I was internet famous.
It's what? Did I say a lie?
I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know who you were.
You did.
I didn't read TFM.
You did. You did.
Everyone
didn't.
You did. You knew. Anyway, please leave a review, and 5 stars on Spotify, but write a review for Apple with a 5-star. And also, if you're new to this show, just checking it out, we do have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/softcorehistory will get you, for $5 a month, we do 2 extra shows a week, including a listener voicemail episode, if you want to call in and leave a voicemail for that. Jake, do you know the number off the top of your head?
It's 512-981-5143. Again, that number is 512-981-5143. Suck my dick.
He learned it.
I learned it.
Proud of you.
I did it, guys.
am
I remembered 10 numbers in a row.
Extremely proud of you. I don't even know my dad's cell phone number.
I was at a Whataburger yesterday, and the code to get into the bathroom was 8 digits long.
That's
It's good. You can't
Seems a little
can't
obscene.
button mash
which
that
Whataburger?
entrance.
People were probably doing
The
unspeakable
one
things.
on Barton Springs.
Oh,
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one. That one needs that long.
that Whataburger is just like
But
homeless orgies in that bathroom.
My
I imagine.
whole point is 8 digits is too long. Make
Or
it
it's-
4.
Or it's just right for the people you don't want in there.
Yeah. Also, a code's not going to keep any homeless people out. They'll just smash the fucking
Lock. Yeah.
lock off if they
It'll
really
keep
want to
kick
get
the
in
door
there.
down.
It'll
yeah.
keep the
Yeah.
drunk barfers out, though.
It will keep them
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So
Lot of
yeah,
riff-raff, you're right.
on the Patreon we have. I don't know why you jumped in with a Whataburger story. On the Patreon we also have a full back catalog.
Because it was 8 digits long, and he, I'm proud of him
Okay.
knowing at least.
Yeah, there was a through line.
I forgot about that.
We're cutting into the history time, guys.
Yeah, really cutting into the history time. Full back catalog, all evergreen shit. So that $5 a month isn't just getting you those months' episodes. It's getting you everything we've ever made there, all of which is evergreen, all history content, fun shit like that. We also do game shows and stuff like trivia contests for history and stuff like that. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, now on to the show.
No.
No?
We're going to do no history today.
More banter.
Pass on history.
What's the deal?
Anybody that
Bathers?
stumbled upon this podcast without knowing who we are,
Fuck you this episode.
I doubt that's going to happen this episode because it's not very SEO friendly. Like, it's not topical.
Oh.
It's just like a random thing from history I found.
So every episode we do.
No, like this
Yeah.
this is pretty like
pretty sure the only time thing we've done so far is
It's
Oppenheimer.
You're welcome.
Oppenheimer. Well, we do like Christmas and 4th of July and stuff like that. But yeah. The only like hyper topical.
I mean, we've exhausted those holidays.
and
already.
Halloween,
Yeah.
obviously, we've just but this is more like my.
I cannot wait for October.
I know spooky month is
Ugh.
spooky month is coming. Tell your friends.
I know.
Yeah, get ready for spooky month. We're coming hard. We're coming bloody.
But this is more akin to like my
Maybe
episode.
traveling?
Could be. It could
We'll
be
see.
a episode on the road.
What?
I think we need to get at least one episode from another location. On
The
location.
catacombs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to the Roman catacombs
I
or
need
the
to-
French catacombs.
So that guy can comment and be like, "Man, I can't tell these guys nothing now."
Just to shove it in his face,
Yeah.
really.
I will at him. We'll go back to that video, find him, and be like, "Hey, bitch,
Check out.
watch this episode."
Here's a link. Suck it. Yeah.
I can't wait.
We're
We
just coming.
get real petty with our negative comments.
What do you think is the greatest lengths somebody has gone to to prove an internet troll wrong.
Well, a guy one time on Counter-Strike lost a knife fight in Counter-Strike, and he found that dude like
Beat him
6
in a
states
real
over and
knife
stabbed
fight?
him to death.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be murder. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way it's not. The internet was probably only around for a year before the first troll-related murder happened.
Yeah, the guy went and found him and stabbed him to death in real life because he lost the Counter-Strike.
That man was Al Gore.
Well, he invented the internet just to
Right.
do that.
That's like the That's like the shittiest, most bad faith reading of that Al Gore quote. Too.
It is.
Everybody's just like talking shit on it. I didn't even realize it. I thought he did say something stupid. I just took everyone's word for it. He meant like the royal we, like the America.
Yeah. We created this.
It's like, imagine like someone's like, we built the railroads across the nation. It's like, and then everyone's like, this guy thinks he built the transcontinental
We
railroad.
went to the moon, and it's like,
This guy thinks he went to the moon.
Guy's an
What a
idiot.
bitch.
Who
What
and
a
what?
dumbass.
He even talk about the guy he went with. Like, yeah, okay.
Fucking
It was just
so shitty.
It's a pretty good example of like before sound biting someone to death was a thing. They
Yeah.
did it to him pretty hard because there was something about like he compared his life to the romantic comedy Love Story during that campaign, and they were like, he thinks that movie's about him. And it's like no one thinks that. Like,
Yeah.
for all the things you give Al Gore shit for.
Yeah, there's so many more things.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, a little bit of a niche subject today. Today's episode is about something about the type of thing that whenever I get like, I don't know, a little anxious, a little stressed out about life or a situation in the world, it's the sort of thing I think about and it relaxes me.
Oh God, where is it? Where's the left turn?
Today we're talking about the African slave trade.
I know which one you're talking. You're talking about the eastern one, aren't you?
Kind of, to an extent.
Yeah.
It's not the slave trade that relaxes me, though, for what it's worth. It's my own personal theme for this show, for this episode, but I feel like it's my other history theme. Like, obviously, we say shit don't change
Mm-hmm.
all the time because shit don't change, blah, blah, blah. But it's like what we broadly subscribe to, I guess. But another theme, Dan, I think this one will resonate with you in particular. Another theme that I constantly have, like, remind myself of to feel good. You remember that meme when, like, you know, Black Lives Matter and then it's Blue Lives Matter and there's just a picture zoomed out of the Milky Way and it's like no lives matter?
Yeah.
That is kind of how it's like a calming thing I get about history. And the theme of this history theme in particular is no one's going to remember you.
A speck of dust on a speck of dust on a speck of dust.
Yeah.
Here lies Ozymandias, King of Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's going to. I mean, if you asked someone, like the average person, to write down every historical figure they are aware of prior to 1900, what do you think? What's the over-under on the number they get? Give them number of historical figures they can write down. Give them 30 minutes.
You have to invade another country, typically.
Yeah.
Do something horrific.
Yeah. Or invent something incredible.
Or just sue somebody.
Like,
for
I
that.
bet even like Caesar would only be on like 1 out of every 5 lists.
You think so?
You think Hitler's on every one pretty much? I mean, people. There's
before 19 that was born before 1900.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hitler doesn't count because
Yeah.
it's no 20th century historical figures.
Yeah, like you're gonna have a hard time. Actually, I bet I put the number at like 35.
You think the average person could write 35 down,
No, I think more fictional characters, like a Thor.
which doesn't count?
like Medusa.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
they'll get
Gorgon,
like
of course.
yeah,
Hercules.
they'll get
Yeah.
like Lincoln and Washington. There's so many. I'm setting the over under at 9.5. I think the average person can't do 10 if you gave them 30 minutes to sit down and write them.
30 minutes is such a long. You know what? But I think of the people I hang out with, and I'm like, oh, they could probably do it, but not everyone.
You have to be assassinated. Or even then, like Garfield, nobody really knows him.
Right. Or fucking McKinley.
Forget that.
Right. No one knows these people.
You'll know.
So that's what I like to think about when I think like the world's big and right in my face. I'm like, no one cares.
Well,
No one's gonna remember anything I do, even if it's incredible. I probably won't be remembered.
We're gonna be doing a double header on Africa this week. Then,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at us.
yeah, really growing
Look at us.
I think me and Jake still have time.
to be remembered.
Yeah. I think it's past you, Rob. You're
Sure,
37.
sure.
We're 32. We're still youngins.
Yeah, it's we really should be at the point of the apex though,
And you've
not
had
at the floor.
you have kids, so you kind of pass on
That's the
all
o-
your hopes and dreams onto them.
The only legacy any of us are ever going to have is children.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you have any at all.
That's right. My legacy is going to be something cool. Like, I don't know, some invention.
You
All right, Stu Pickles.
better start inventing, I guess.
All right, here you go. Plush toys that are animals, but bananas. Call them bananimals.
Get on it.
It's been done.
Patent pending. No, it
It's
hasn't.
over in Korea.
That's
Oh, I'm
probably-
sure.
That's probably
Yeah,
true.
probably. That sounds very Korean. That sounds
Damn
like
it.
something you would see in like a Korean gas station.
What if that's my calling, like Korean plush toys?
Get on it.
Yeah, go. What are you? No one's stopping you. Get up and do it.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Enjoy the episode, y'all.
So my own specific example I like to think of when I think of this, just to remind myself when I'm whatever, is the Battle of Manzikert. You guys ever heard of this?
No.
Hear about this?
Yeah, I'm a big Manzikert guy.
Is
Big
that in
man's-
Iran?
No.
Okay.
Close. It was in Turkey.
Okay.
It was basically the loss. The Eastern Roman Empire lost the Battle of the Turks in like the 1000s. It essentially made it like that was it. They were done in Anatolia after that. The Turks took over, colonized it. They weren't from there. People forget that. Turkey, not the land of Turks.
No, they were from east of there, weren't they?
Like south and east.
Yeah, like from inner steppe.
They were more like around, I think from around like Egypt or North Africa.
Oh,
something like
really?
that.
I thought they were more. I thought like
They came up through Egypt, I think.
Oh man, so I always thought Turks were like more of a steppe kind of like Kazakh area group of people.
Maybe they are actually.
Yeah, that's just my understanding.
See,
of
that's
it.
the thing. No, I don't remember because no one.
Well,
okay, they're
no
from
one
Central
talks
Asia.
about the Turks not being from Turkey. That's something that's not really covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, they were from more Central Asia than
Yeah.
anything. But one of the last places
You're
they
only proving your point.
Exactly. No one remembers anything.
Yeah.
And I'm good at remembering this stuff. And you don't remember anything.
Sus.
Why don't you pronounce Bhutan right? Listen to our Patreon to get
Bhutan.
that joke.
Bootin',
Bootin'.
baby.
Boot, scoot, and buggy.
Straight up bootin'.
So that was it. This is the battle that they lost. That essentially, it was not the immediate final nail in the Eastern Roman Empire's coffin, but they were never going to recover from that. They were never going to be a powerful nation again after that. It was even worse. It was set them on the path that then the Crusades fucked up even worse and blah blah blah. Anyway, this is a massively important historical event. People died there. It was the pinnacle of many people's lives.
Some battle no one remembers.
Some battle, no one. I mean, like, can you imagine that? You're like dying, bleeding out on this field, and you're like, I did it for the emperor. This will be remembered and sung about for the ages.
Nah.
And this is Western civilization.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah.
It's
This
still,
isn't even like a random battle in China where 8 million people died.
still beats getting stabbed at like a Black Friday sale.
Does.
Bleeding out into Walmart.
Check it out.
My family
They're
will
the
remember. My family will remember me getting this Garmin
Yeah.
GPS system.
Songs will be sung of me every Thanksgiving. No.
Just get $50 off a big screen TV.
Right.
It's gonna burn out in 2 years.
So again,
TVs are cheap as hell now.
Hey,
yeah, I know. Shouldn't be killing anybody over a TV.
it's the only thing that's getting cheaper.
So again, no one's going to remember you. No one's going to remember you.
And that's our show, guys. Thanks
Yeah.
so much for listening. No one will remember you.
That's the message we really want you to take.
No
home.
one's going to remember. Do you make art? What do you do? It doesn't matter. No one, even,
Even artists.
that's
come
what I'm
on.
saying. Even the artist, no one's
There's
going to remember you.
4?
There's 4. Yeah, it's 4 total artists.
And one of them's not a real artist.
It's just Andy Warhol.
He just slaps his name on stuff.
Yeah.
Hate that guy.
Everyone knows.
Everyone does. The best explanation of Andy Warhol is in Men in Black 3. If you've seen it.
He's just one of the aliens.
No. I'm not even going to spoil it. Just you don't even have to watch the movie. Just YouTube Andy Warhol scene Men in Black. The movie's like a decade old at this point. But this story reminded me of that general theme as I was reading it. It is the story of the Zanj Rebellion.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm glad we don't clash topics this week.
Yeah, I figured that wasn't going to be a problem.
Oh, damn it.
Actually, as soon as you said, "Oh, we're both doing Africa," I was like, "Oh fuck, I got to grab my backup."
Yeah.
I only have one Africa per week.
Yeah, no, we can have 2
Yeah,
this
it's probably fine.
time. Mine's more of a biopic.
It's a big continent.
Yeah.
So because it's such a huge event, and more importantly, a desperate, monumental, just all-encompassing event for the people involved. Like it's It's like the most important, monstrous thing that happened in these people's lives, and it had ramifications throughout the world. You don't know it. You never heard of it. Have to imagine.
Because these countries are so insignificant now.
I mean,
Turkey's kind of
No,
important.
Turkey doesn't matter
this
anymore.
isn't Turkey. This happened in Iraq.
Oh,
Sure.
I know. Yep.
So
But he brought up Turkey. I'm like, even Turkey does not matter now.
not really.
They're
It
not
can
player.
be. It can be a. Yeah, they're. I mean,
They're not in the game.
They're in NATO. They're
Not
They're
really.
game adjacent.
All I know is Hidu Turkoglu's in their like government.
That's because you're a sports guy.
But that's all that
Yeah, that's more
you can
than,
really
that's probably
take
what
away
most
from
people
Turkey.
know. Yeah.
At this point, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, this event. I mean, this is like a traumatic, catastrophic thing that happened to so many people, and no one knows about it. Not because we're ignorant or anything. There's just too much to know, even. So it's just funny though that these people in the moment dying. This is the biggest event ever that could ever happen to them, and we're like, oh, this was fun trivia for the day.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I mean, that's just history. It's funny to me. But let's talk about it now.
But
So
imagine writing your thesis on this in college. Like you spent all your time studying this specific incident.
There are probably people with their thesis.
That seems
on
like
this.
a total waste.
no, it's better to do something like this that the professor's not going to know shit about.
Yep.
Which
Get
you want?
real granular.
You want to do one about Napoleon? Good luck, asshole.
Yeah. Say something that hasn't been said about this already. Because that's your thesis.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Your thesis needs to bring a new
You
idea
need to
the table.
find the most random shit you can think of.
Yeah. The whole point of the thesis is to bring a new.
All I'm saying
Perspective.
is you think this moment here in history does not matter in the grand scheme of things. That man's paper or that woman's paper,
Yeah.
even less so.
What, their paper about it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all just, I mean, and honestly, it's like it's like a robot learning about it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, those people got their heads cut off. Interesting.
Mm.
But that person who gets his head cut off it's very interesting to him.
Yeah. Totally.
So what years are these?
So it happens from 869 to 883 AD.
Sick.
Takes place in the Abbasid Caliphate,
Of course.
which is the third caliphate to succeed Muhammad himself. It was founded by a dynasty that traced back to Muhammad's uncle, probably allegedly, but who knows. At the height of its power in 860 AD, the borders of the Abbasid Caliphate stretched from Sicily to India.
Damn.
it
It
was-
was a good caliphate.
Yeah, big old caliphate. Not as big as the Umayyad Caliphate,
That a
which was
big one.
before it.
Yeah. That was a big one.
That was like Spain to
Indian-
India.
It was like, yeah, almost, I think, to Indonesia at that point, right?
I don't know that they'd gotten
They
into
might not have
Indonesia
gotten
yet. The heart of the empire was in Iraq. The capital, either the capital or it's, New York City, was Baghdad, which was arguably at the time the greatest city on earth.
Cool.
This was what was known as the golden age of Islam that you hear so much about.
Oh, pre-Mongol.
Oh, by about 400 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before they nuke the city.
Yeah.
With swords.
It's just
Swords,
worse.
disease. It kind of is actually a lot worse. Like, hey, you want to get nuked, but slow.
Mm-hmm.
Slow nukes.
Slow nuking is
Oh.
really not ideal.
No, around this time they're bucking. They're just living their lives.
What, the Mongols?
No,
Oh,
the caliphate.
Muslims? Yeah, the Caliphate. They're crushing it. This is I imagine this is the most powerful nation on earth. I mean, 860. The Eastern Roman Empire is still a big fucking deal. But like Western Europe is kind of whatever. I guess maybe the Holy Roman Empire, and then obviously,
It's still kind of reestablishing itself
yeah,
post-fall of Western Roman Empire, right?
Yeah.
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 So they're still realigning.
this is during what people would still, I think, consider the Dark Ages for Europe.
Yeah.
Even though the Dark Ages is kind of a misnomer, but that's neither here nor there. Not important. So one area of the empire that was somewhat underdeveloped, despite this being probably the richest nation or whatever you want to call it, empire on Earth at the time, and most advanced, was in its backyard, actually, southern Iraq. After the Arabs conquered Mesopotamia, the port city of Basra sprung up shortly afterwards. Basra's in southern Iraq, near the Persian Gulf. If you remember the second invasion of Iraq, that's the one we gave the Brits to take.
Oh.
Brit-
No, I don't.
Brits took Basra.
Let the Brits have it. You guys like ships?
Yeah. Oh, you like a boat? Don't you, Governor?
Yeah.
You can go to this old boat city. like,
That's how I imagine it went down
yeah,
with
like,
Tony Blair.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
President Bush, this is a pretty serious topic. I don't think now's the time to be doing your impression of our accent. Oh,
I would love if behind the scenes, Tony Blair and George W. Bush are just talking about what to do. George W. Bush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Just fucking sing-songing at Tony Blair.
He's
And
just
Tony
like-
Blair, you fucked the pig, didn't you?
It's like, oh, God damn it.
Everyone
Just
forgets about that.
really hate that I need to bring these petrol prices down. Oh, God damn it. So, yeah, Basra sprung up shortly after, and it became arguably the Islamic world's primary trading link with East Asia, India, Indonesia, blah, blah, blah. This was their port city. You know the episode I did, I think it was on the Patreon, about the African slaves in China?
Yes.
I really got to do something about Africa and the slaves. That's not ideal, but
Yeah, join the
it
club.
is what it is.
dude.
Actually, listen to our punt episode from a million years ago,
Punt was good.
where Egypt got all their treasure from. Now, they bought it. They bought it, just to be clear. Punt was a trading empire that we knew a little bit about, and also a sexy land.
It was sexy.
They always talk. The ancient Egyptians wrote poetry about how sexy it was.
They were serving punt all day long. Yeah.
But so this city became fabulously wealthy. It was, it was like one of the most important ports in the world at the time. Still, the areas around Basra were largely abandoned marshland. And this Basra, by the way, is the area where the Sumerian Empire started.
Oh, okay.
These are all where all the first cities sprung up. Fertile land, blah blah blah.
Swampy, wet, fertile.
Yeah. It can get swampy if you don't tend to it, and that's what fucking happened. The areas around Basra were largely abandoned marshes that used to be farmland, certainly when the Sumerians were around. But even after that, the Tigris and Euphrates, though, are kind of like, so the Nile, like, it floods slowly. It's peaceful. It rises up, and the Egyptians are like, it's time to harvest. The Tigris and Euphrates just, like, murder you in your sleep. It's like a flash flood.
Yeah.
Not as fun of a river to live on. So when they flood, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, especially in the valley between the two.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, because like there's that. I mean, that's where Sumeria's essentially based. Is
I think
the
so.
intersection, yeah, or Sumer.
Sumer, Samaria. I actually don't. They hadn't intersected yet at that point in history.
Oh, okay.
They hadn't pushed all the silt out. So all this was abandoned, but the Caliphate knew that this land could be useful again for architecture if the marshes were converted back to farmland. So the Caliphate just gave all this marshland to wealthy residents of Basra, and they were like, you can have this on the condition that you can own this land on the condition that you make it useful. All right? So the wealthy residents were like, sure, we'll take free land. But then they went out to check on their new real estate and the job at hand that would come with it. And they were like, man, this is going to be horrible work. I mean, it's hot as shit because we're in Iraq. Clearing all this water and vegetation and topsoil.
Sounds a lot like some people's issues with the southeastern United States.
Yeah, they're like, this is just going to be deathly work.
Yeah.
I don't think we could pay anyone to do this if we wanted to. So they didn't.
So it's like their Mississippi,
It's their. It's just off the Pontchartrain.
the Delta.
Yeah.
I would say Louisiana would probably be the state I'd want to be a slave in the least,
Yeah.
just based on climate.
Climate and conditions, like just wet.
Mississippi's the exact same,
In Mississippi's,
Is it?
if you're on the Delta,
but
it's-
much worse.
Yeah, well, so is East Texas. Like, if you get past east of Houston, that's all fucking gross, too.
Dude, honestly, if you're on the Delta, you're fucked. If you're in the Bayou, you're fucked. Like,
At
I'm
least
just on-
Louisiana, you have some like name recognition. Nobody gives a fuck about Mississippi.
No.
Mississippi, yeah, it's bad.
It's the worst state in America.
It's by far the worst. There's not even a good city.
It's weird that
there.
they're named after a river that doesn't start or end there.
Yeah. It's just there.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah, it's a dumb state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but quite literally, if you're from Mississippi, apologies, but
but no.
your school system's
No,
trash.
I don't. I was thinking today about
Yeah.
how Ole Miss is
What's your
just like
cuisine? Okay, like a lesser
Mud pie.
Actually, no. They have a great signature dish, the Mississippi pot roast.
Yeah, the mud roast.
Mud
Mississippi
roast.
mud roast. That's what I'm talking
I was
about.
thinking today how Ole Miss has got to be like. It's just like really well dressed illiterates.
I don't even know what the. That's hilarious. But
Like
I
it's
don't
just
even know,
like really like lipstick on a.
What do you
like,
think the
pig.
largest city in Mississippi is? Do you think you know? It's got to be
Jackson.
Jackson,
It's
right?
easily Jackson. Speaking of Southern foods that are dog shit, though, Alabama white sauce is stupid, and it's not a barbecue sauce, and I don't want that shit anywhere near anything I eat fucking ever.
Seems like they're catching a stray for no reason.
No, it's deserved.
The largest city in Mississippi is Jackson with a population of 150,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a lot
nobody
of
should
people.
live in that state.
That is insanely small for the largest city of
Have you been to Oxford?
I've never stopped anywhere other than a rest stop.
Dude,
in
Oxford's
Mississippi.
fucking tiny. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'll be in Jackson next week or in 2 weeks.
Making a pit stop.
Making a pit stop.
But a
on the way
night.
to
Stop for
Tuscaloosa.
the night. You need to go to a dive.
No, you don't. Not
I
Mississippi.
don't need to go out.
I think,
I think I just need to check into the hotel and sleep.
just hang out at the hotel bar.
Just kind of
There's no way your hotel is a bar.
No.
just
About
kind
to say
of
the
people
s-
watch.
fucking stop and go next to
Yeah, the
this
hotel. Any hotel bar in Jackson is just like 8 people drinking out in the back of their truck in a parking lot
Yeah.
at the hotel.
They're
It
not
can't be worse than Roswell.
That makes
Oh.
sense. New Mexico doesn't. There's certain states that don't get as much shit for being garbage because I've talked about this before. Like
New
because they're
Mexico
in the-
has
they're-
skiing though, and they have some geographical.
yeah,
They
it's,
have
they're
Taos.
beautiful. Well, they have beautiful mountains. They've got the cool desert. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but like,
landmarks that you would actually want to see.
yeah, the geography and topography of it, like, help prevent it from getting all the shit that it should get. Whereas Mississippi, even though Mississippi's like kind of beautiful too, if you just take the people
It's
out of
not.
it.
It's not.
It's
Mississippi and Oklahoma are two
Oklahoma's.
of the worst and
Not-
ugliest states in the country.
I would say Mississippi is several degrees.
Mississippi.
looking.
The only thing Mississippi has going for it is its coastline.
gambling.
Gambling in Biloxi, and that's on the coast.
Not Stark Vegas.
Stark Vegas.
Certainly not Stark
Can you
Vegas.
gamble there?
Isn't that why they call it Stark
I'm
Vegas?
sure you
I thought they just
can.
called it Stark Vegas out of like a cute, whatever name. Anyway, I want to know about this place.
Okay. So instead of, paying someone to do the work, which I don't know if they thought they could do it or not, they really didn't care. They just paid people to go to the southeastern coast of Africa and buy a ton of slaves. In fact, the two primary reasons the Abbasid Empire Caliphate even traded along the African coast was for gold and slaves.
I mean, we can get into a much larger topic of African slave trade across both coasts, but something that a lot of people don't realize is that other people, like other empires that traded slaves with Africa, it didn't start out as them going in and raiding slaves and kidnapping people. They were
No.
tapping into an already very well-established intercontinental, or not inter, but within
Intracontinental?
inter would be within itself, right?
No, inter would be between continents, like
Okay,
interstate.
so intra-continental slave trade. That
Yeah,
was
oh,
very
yeah.
established by chieftains and warlords and governments.
And by the way,
The
this
Vikings are popping off at this time. They
Yeah.
come across the Caliphate in Sicily.
they do, yeah. No,
Yeah.
they literally do. But and by the way, this is even
So they
being
start to
too,
trade back and forth.
This is being even too much of a monoculture or treating Africa like a monoculture.
Oh,
this
totally.
is East Africa.
Yeah.
They don't, as far as I know, really have any contact with West Africa, which is where the United States and Great Britain and the New World got its slaves,
Yeah.
right?
and
The Spanish, like they're totally different parts of a humongous continent.
Yeah, and even saying east and west is kind of reductive into a monoculture kind of trap.
I will-
because they're so different along those coasts.
Oh
too.
yeah. I will say though the Abbasid Caliphate was basically going up and down the whole coast
Yeah.
of East Africa.
Totally. But
Maybe not all the way down to like South Africa and shit, but like it was quite a bit of stretch of Africa that they
Yeah.
traded with.
Africa, continent-wise, might have the most resources throughout human history, and we have done nothing but pillage that place. Not just that, all of
Oh, it
the
goes
world.
back to basically as soon like probably pre-Roman Empire forward. People have just been going into Africa and taking shit.
yeah,
Fucking crazy.
They never want to stay, but it's just we'll just take this.
it's rough here, guys.
Yeah,
Let's just get out.
Not an easy continent to live on, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like maybe on the Mediterranean coast a little bit.
It's
but
really the northern
Oil,
part that's-
gold, lithium.
like either the tippy top or the bottom.
That's where we got our
Humans.
that's where we got our uranium for the atomic bombs.
Yeah.
Everything. It's all in
It's
Africa.
got it all, man.
So yeah, they just got a shit ton of slaves from East Africa. Enter the Zanj. These were the Africans that were, conquered and kidnapped and whatever else and sold as slaves to the wealthy elite of Basra, among many other places. And these people did not give one single fuck about the Zanj. Now, it should be noted that this was not really like racial slavery per se. I mean, there were free black people living their best lives in Basra and elsewhere from the same areas that these slaves were from.
Yeah.
It's just like these poor bastards were caught. I don't know, maybe they were further in from the coast. You know what I mean? And they were just like plucked from whatever, like that scene in Apocalypto.
Yeah.
The opening town scene of Apocalypto where they're just like, all right, got to do some raiding.
Yep.
If you survive, you're a slave.
Basically.
What village are you going to go back to? There isn't.
Yeah, it's got
Burned it down. Yeah.
So these people did not give one single fuck about the Zanj or their health. They were an extremely replaceable people. Thus, believe it or not, their living conditions were horrifying. And despite being, just a few days away, literally, from the world's richest, most medically advanced, most knowledgeable city, thousands of them died from disease, starvation, exhaustion, torture, and so on a regular basis. Didn't matter. Money was flowing through the fucking city and the fucking empire. There were always more slaves to grab from Africa and elsewhere. Africans weren't the only people working the marshes, but the Zanj, I think, were the primary, what do you call it? Group, I guess.
They're the
demographic.
Yeah, they are they're bearing the brunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the Zanj had been slaves for a while, actually. They had previously revolted in 689 and 694. This would predate the Abbasid Caliphate. This would be against the Umayyad Caliphate. But it wasn't until 869 AD when things got real, like Spartacus levels of serious. Back in 861, so the revolt starts in 869. In 861, the Caliphate started dealing with some serious internal strife. The central government was broke from dealing with other rebellions and wars. Several factions were trying to take control of the empire at the same time. They had a bunch of different caliphs take control in rapid succession. Really, just typical imperial stuff.
Yeah.
Same shit, the shit that happens in Rome and China, whatever. You have an empire, at some point this type of shit's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to keep the empire.
Right.
You got to maintain it.
And people are going to try to take power. And
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. What was the one in Rome, the year of the four emperors? It's just shit like that. It's we don't even need to get into it. Again, it's like typical empire shit. Enter Ali ibn Muhammad, the man who would liberate the Zanj slaves. Because he was a good man? No, this guy was a piece of shit, and he sucks ass. It seems that Ali's primary occupation in life was starting rebellions.
It's kind of cool.
This is the ultimate rebel without a cause. Like, this guy is literally a rebel without a cause.
Yeah.
He will adopt a cause to justify his rebellion, but it's really more about the rebellion.
Some men just want to see the world burn.
He's a rabble riser.
He is a rabble riser. He is. He's just he's an agent of chaos. He just wants to see it get fucking twisted.
He's essentially what I wrote is he's like, his situation with rebellions is like someone trying to become a famous YouTuber, like just doing shitty pranks everywhere, hoping and filming them and hoping like one goes viral so he can be famous.
And hoping he doesn't get punched in the face.
Yes, that is
It's a prank, man.
that is this guy's life. And in fact, the Zanj Rebellion was not Ali's first rebellion. In 863, he went to the Eastern Arabian Peninsula where like Qatar and Dubai and shit are. And he pretended to be a Shiite Muslim so he could convince everyone to rebel. Why? Not to really like he didn't think the caliphate was some horrible imperial master or anything like that. His main problem with the caliphate is that like he wasn't in charge of any of it.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean?
I should be making the decisions. If this were my caliphate, we'd be so much more efficient.
Yeah, and I don't even think. I mean, he would have gone as far as he could have gone and became caliph if he could have pulled that off. But they would have been happy just slicing a piece of land off for himself.
Yeah.
And being like, yay, I can tax this place and get money and be a king.
Amenia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted. He just wanted clout and money.
Okay. What's his background? Is he coming from a rich family?
No.
Self-made man.
Yeah. Suppose you could say that.
Kind of have to respect that.
Yeah.
He's just an entrepreneur.
I don't think he grew up poor because he seems somewhat educated. So maybe some sort of middle class situation.
Perhaps.
But I don't think he was any sort of nobility or anything. Not that he didn't claim to be. We'll get to that.
But it sounds like he's a rise and grind guy.
He is absolutely a rise and grind guy. A rise and grind, and he knows when to check out.
Well, yeah, you got to know when to cash out.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to hold him.
Well, he doesn't really know when to hold him.
He knows when to fold him though.
No,
Yeah,
he
he-
never folds them.
He knows just when to cash out.
Yeah.
He knows when to rapidly take all his chips off the table and run away.
That's a good thing to know though.
They really like that when you go to a poker table
And you just snatch them all up
and you
mid-hand.
win like 3 hands and leave. They really love that.
Oh, they do. If anyone's never played poker at a real table, as soon as you get up, leave. Just leave.
Also, suck my dick. You lost, I won. What am I supposed to sit here and let you take it back?
That's the kind of attitude right there that you need to bring to the poker table.
If someone was like, really, this is amateur hour, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm cashing out.
You and this man would have got along.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
is there a code at the gambling table?
Yes, there is a code.
1,000 fart noises to that.
1,000 fart noise. Okay.
Fuck that. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
I mean, you're not like the whole point is that there's no way you're getting up in 3 hands. You're walking away with like you're just kind of taking away from.
Do you upset the blackjack table too by
Like-
hitting on numbers you shouldn't?
Do you split things you shouldn't?
I do think that's a little different because that's a team sport.
It is a team sport. You're going against the dealer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that makes more sense. But you're taking money from the other players, so it's not. There is no like we both get. It's the 9th inning and we both get a turn at bat, right? If I score in the top of the 9th, peace out, bitch. I'm leaving. I'm not giving you a chance to get it back.
Now, if you get a giant pot, yeah, run away. Just run.
Yeah, I guess if you're up $20 and leave, like that's
You're-
not even.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of
You
like
just spike the football on your own 10.
That's
Double
like you got a
birds, but
first-
fuck y'all.
You went from like the 25 to the 40. You have a first down. Cool. All
Yeah.
right. I'm
Fucking
out.
go.
Yeah.
So his rebellion, his first rebellion, it went pretty well at first in the Eastern Arabian Peninsula, again around Qatar, Dubai, all that stuff. And his forces even got successful enough that his dreams were starting to come true. They were collecting taxes in his name.
Ooh. That's clout.
Big,
Yeah.
big.
I already
Uh,
hate this guy. Collecting taxes.
Yeah, his first move is taxes
Yeah.
This guy sucks.
He conquers a little land, then starts taxing the people.
without representation too.
Sad.
Undoubtedly.
The whole representation on taxes thing is very late in the game. It's normally just, fuck you, pay me. Because I said so or you'll
Most of
die.
history is that scene from the finale of Game of Thrones where Sam's like, well, everyone lives here, so shouldn't everyone get a say in their government? And then everyone just fucking laughs at him.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like, you idiot.
Why don't I give my horse a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is all of history until basically the American Revolution.
yeah. They often let a
That's
prisoner
oversimplified, but
pick the king as well. Typically, a man that's been in prison for months picks the king.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, normally.
yeah, usually a convicted murderer.
And who has a better story
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
than the man who is broken?
This kid who's not progressed the plot at all.
Not even the best part of his story.
No.
Who has a better story than the man who fell out of a window? When
Everyone.
he's psychic. He's a
Everyone.
fourth dimensional being. That's the.
He hasn't told anyone that, though, so.
I guess that's
Yeah.
true. I think whatever. I don't.
We're
care.
not doing this.
Yeah. So
But boy, could we.
eventually, the rebellion fizzled out. The local inhabitants fought back because they weren't really down with Ali, and he just pieced the fuck out to Basra.
Time to start anew.
Yeah, took a ship in the night or whatever. I don't know. In Basra, around which the Zanj are working in the city's and everything, the city's rival groups were actually feuding. So Ali tried to take advantage of the chaos, and he declared a new rebellion, but this time in Basra.
Okay. I see his plan.
Is there ever a time in history where the rival groups just kind of kick it?
There's probably it's like
They typically always feud.
they do, and I don't know.
That's the rival part.
I don't know why they're not more into like price fixing. You know what I mean?
It's like, whoa, what if we.
What if we work together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get why not. But anyway,
That is also late in the game
Price fixing.
when rivals start to price fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he declares a new revolt. And I think, not to just reference The Office, but it really is just like a I declare bankruptcy situation.
I was about to say, like, did he just roll into Basra? Like, hey, y'all, revolt.
Starting a revolt. What's up?
He just
Who's with me?
Kicks over a trash can. He's like, it's on, guys.
Yeah, literally, yeah. It kicks over a public trash can. It's like, we revolting.
Yeah. Everyone's like, who's this? Fuck it.
The problem.
Yeah, it's like all the fairy tale characters going to Shrek's swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is, literally no one joined.
So he's one man.
So he had to
riot.
get the fuck out of Basra.
So that's it.
Well, he goes and he has to hide in the marshes around the city because people are hunting down this guy who tried to declare a rebellion, but no one joined.
Yeah. Normally you get the funding first.
Right.
You get the backing.
He was
And then
he was a hype man.
Yeah. He's
Get ahead of yourself. I've been guilty of that before. You're just really excited about something.
You're not thinking straight. You're just giddy with excitement for your new idea, and everyone's like, then you try it, and everyone's like, you're
And
fucking
then-
idiot.
You're like you like have an idea for like a cool like web series, but you're already filming before the script's finished type of situation.
Oh, I talk about it the whole time, and I never follow through.
yeah. It's like, no, here's how it's gonna go, and then it doesn't.
What if we do sketches for the Patreon?
Fuck you.
I mean, they're all great ideas. We just have zero fucking time in our lives. So
Let's start a
subscribe to
Discord.
our Patreon so we so we can make more time. He was captured shortly after, and I don't really know what life was like back then. But look, I just imagine the vibes to an extent are like modern day Saudi Arabia, and I feel like anyone who declared a rebellion there would not easily get out of custody.
No, probably not.
They're supporting an independent golf league?
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Big at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
They didn't conquer Scotland, but they sort of have their fingerprints there.
All over, yeah. I get it.
He was somehow able to secure his release. Just talked his way out of it, I guess, and went to Baghdad. In Baghdad, he lied and claimed he was a Zaidi Muslim, which was a branch of Shia, and that he was related to Zaid ibn Ali, who was a famous Muslim who notoriously died rebelling against the Umayyad Caliphate. So essentially a famous rebel.
Yeah.
He was like, that's my fucking grandpa or whatever.
He's just going into town selling monorails left and right.
Well,
literally.
it kind of falls into that classic though. He definitely is a Shiite, right? Because like he is like, oh, I need this bloodline confirmation to prove my case, and that's very
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a Shia Muslim, I think, but he's not really anything.
no.
You know what I mean?
He's an opportunist.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, he's using the mechanisms of recognition that are prevalent in the, I guess, is the caliphate that is existing right now a Shia one?
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's using the mechanisms that are required to gain clout.
Which he will then
Again, he's a grinder.
he will take advantage of those mechanisms soon in the future, and I'll get to that. So this gained Ali some followers. Once again, in 869, Ali heard about the factions in Basra feuding. And he decided to give it another go now that he had some people who were like, this guy's tight. He's related to that one guy, so that's something.
Cool. Yeah.
He went back to Basra. Perhaps,
It's the Arch Manning effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps he was maybe quote unquote inspired, but not at. I have to assume not in an altruistic way at all. By his time spent hiding in the marshes, so he sought out the Zanj, the African slaves. Specifically, he went about asking about their working conditions and their nutritional standards, and he found out that both roughly qualified as bad.
Oh, yeah.
He unionized the slaves?
No, he's just doing investigative groundwork. You know, he's just kind of sussing it out, doing a little recon, seeing what the vibes. He's vibe checking. You know, he's like
Vibe checking.
yeah. Hey, what's the vibe in this lawless swamp that you guys do work in for free? Like, what's it like here?
Oh, is it bad?
It's
Well, that's
bad.
bullshit.
Guys, come on. You need some box fans up in here. Let's go.
Listen,
are you
I'm
waiting
against
for?
slavery, but I'm also against unions. This is quite a
So
pickle.
you're gonna, yeah. You don't know which way the scale's
What's
tipping.
the greater evil, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
God.
I mean,
Collective bargaining.
what is a union but, and slave driver by committee.
This man's just the boss Tweety of his time.
Yeah. Who do you
Yeah.
want to be owned by? 'Cause
One guy or a group of people?
A machine, you know?
Yeah. So he began a campaign to emancipate the Zanj, and as soon as basically a couple of them joined, and I think a couple might be a good way to describe it.
We're talking
Two?
like a handful, huh?
No, just two.
Yeah, just two.
Literally two.
A handful of them. Ali declared himself chief of the Zanj.
You know, homie, you're selling me on the conditions being bad, and immediately you're my boss. Like,
He's
meet
like,
the new boss.
I'm gonna free you. Also, I'm your king.
Yeah. Whoa. All right.
He's just the weird kid in high school in the corner with his two pals doing whippets.
Ali.
I didn't have any high school kids in the corner doing whippets.
In
I
like
was
the
thinking
D
more,
hallway.
I was thinking more of the kids that like Naruto run around. High school. Or like the two kids that are playing like Power Rangers still and they're 16 years old.
The kids that juggle in the courtyard.
The kids that exclusively shop at Hot Topic for Dragon Ball Z gear.
Okay. So
Wow.
they're not actually emo. They're like
I kind of
nerdy.
respect
They're
that
nerdy
almost.
emo.
maybe there's a little dark. Yeah, there's a little darkness to them, but
Yeah. A lot of trench coat wearing.
you can't really be. No, I don't want to say depressed. Probably isn't the right word, but I feel like Dragon Ball Z, it sparks joy.
It do.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can't.
I don't know, man. When you got to watch 19 episodes to see Frieza die, you kind of get sick of the show. You know what I'm saying?
We're
Wouldn't
not.
know.
We're not going to take this.
You're not feeling that one?
No.
I'm not gonna yes.
you can
and
you can
this.
holster that take.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, you liked the 19 episode arc of Frieza.
Not getting into it, but just don't disrespect Dragon Ball Z. That's all. I'll say.
I'm just saying it's a long arc for,
I don't care.
yeah.
I don't respect you or your opinion.
Okay, cool. Well,
Let us know in the comments. He promised the Zanj, Ali did, freedom and wealth from their conquest, but it wasn't just the Zanj who joined. Quite a few people. This essentially turned into class warfare very quickly. Semi-liberated slaves, clients of prestigious families, a number of craftsmen and other sort of like maybe less skilled laborers, and then just some random peasants. I guess that means probably farmers. Also, Bedouin people, so just sort of like desert wanderers,
oh, nice.
herders and stuff like that, shepherds that lived around Basra. They all joined him.
Okay. They were probably all in it for their own reasons too, other than his.
Well, it's like
The reason was they were bored.
they were well. Also,
They were poor.
They were
What are you
poor.
gonna do as a desert wanderer?
They were poor, and
You're
they
just
didn't-
looking for things to kind of fill your time.
Yeah.
they were poor.
They were
and
poor.
they didn't want to be poor anymore.
Hey, if we kill these people,
we'll be rich. And finally, someone got the enough people together to do it. So part of the reason all these other people join in the class warfare and stuff like this is so you were talking about. It's like, oh, he's a Shia, so he's using the methods of the way they organize themselves, which is they talk about bloodlines and inheritance. That's the important shit,
It's
right?
the mechanism of of succession. Yeah.
Well, Ali started preaching what the Kharijites, another famous rebel group from Islamic history, preached, which was essentially, fuck bloodlines. Anyone who's a good Muslim can be caliph,
Oh, so he pulled a Sunni on him.
basically.
Yeah.
They were talking. They were all about taking the best man for the job. Their exact quote on that was, in fact, this is true. The most qualified man should reign, even if he is a black slave.
Oh, that's progressive. It's good for them.
As long as he's a good Muslim.
Did it turn out that he would be the leader, though?
Who, Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's
the
like,
most qualified.
The best man should be king.
And I'm the
That's
one who's
me.
I'm the one who suggested that, so that means I'm the
Right.
best.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm the best. That's the rules, right?
Yeah.
Argue with me about it. Some guy's like,
I mean, I had the idea.
Yeah. So I'm clearly
So
the
did you
most
come up with the
altruistic
idea?
here.
yeah, obviously.
Did you come up with the idea?
Oh.
That was me.
Did we?
I'm the benevolent king here? Okay. Yeah.
I'm best boy. So yeah, that really appealed to all these people, along with the promised wealth and revenge and whatever else. It appealed to the working class. And although I will say the majority of his army, I think as far as we know, were still slaves, is the Zanj. Finally, Ali had a winner. He had a rebellion that was going to stick.
Nice.
He sold his monorail.
You love to see it.
Everything else just doesn't sound like he really got it started.
Look, it's like
He's kind of testing the waters.
it's like they say with anything creative, just make it because whatever you make first is going to suck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to just make that first thing.
Get
and
out
then
of your
keep,
system.
Keep creating, and eventually it'll be good.
Stack wins.
Stack wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, for real. I mean, I hate this guy, though.
Oh, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand what he's done wrong so far.
Well, I guess we'll get to that.
He has freed the slaves.
I mean, he's organized them. How is he organizing? Well, I'm actually kind of confused about this. Like,
Yeah, does the owner
is
just
no one
let this
noticing
happen?
this guy? Like,
I know. I don't
wandering the
know. I don't
swamp?
know how he just.
Sir, sir, you're on my property, talking
Yeah.
to my property.
Yeah. Get away from my slaves. All right. I'm getting
Sir,
security.
I feel like word would get out about this guy, and you're like hanging out, looking at your slaves, and you're like, oh, not this fucker again. Like, get out. Get. Like, don't be
Right.
spreading ideas,
Don't want you here.
Yeah.
No, he somehow pulled. I mean, this guy's pulls shit out of his ass like over and over again.
He's like Bagger Vance just wandering out of the marsh. Just like, hey. If you calm down a little and realize there's more of you than them.
Maybe
Wanders.
even back then they had like 15-minute smoke breaks. Like, I know they're slaves, but they do.
They're-
He
They're
smokes,
entitled to
so-
their 15 minutes.
Yeah. So over the course of the next 14 years, Ali and his Zanj army fought a successful guerrilla war against arguably the most powerful empire on earth. And not just that, in the heart of its empire. Not on the borders or anything like that, in the fucking middle.
Right in the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not far from Baghdad.
The
Yeah,
eye of
no.
the hurricane, though, it's the softest.
What?
The eye of the hurricane is always the softest.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you play Total War, like all your armies are on the
The fringes.
yeah.
They're on the
So if a
they're-
rebellion pops up in the middle, like fuck, that's gonna take like 4 turns to
Yeah.
get back.
if you're expanding across a bunch of different fronts, it's
Yeah.
really hard to fortify the middle. Yeah.
So first, they built a city near the marshes in Basra called Muktara. They raided towns and villages, freed slaves.
That just means Owl's town. Owlie's town.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long did it take to just prop up the city?
14 years, he just said.
Well, they built it pretty quick. And they
Oh,
were like,
really?
This is our
So not 14.
This is our this is our HQ now. They raided towns and villages, took all their shit, freed their slaves. They built forts to control the territory they conquered.
That's a good start.
They even constructed a navy to fight on the rivers, mostly.
Okay, then he's doing. I mean, that's solid craftsmanship as far as like how to rebel. You're
Oh, he
taking
gets
territory.
rolling.
Yeah.
He gets fucking rolling. And, of course, because this is what he's in it for, they minted their own coins and collected taxes.
Hell yeah. Now
Get
that's when the fun.
paid.
All right, guys, this is where the fun really
You're
starts.
paying yourself in your own coins.
Yeah.
He's got Ollie bucks, dude.
Ollie bucks, like Dave and Buster bucks. This is just the plot to Always Sunny where they make
Patty
bucks.
yeah.
You're like, well, we gave everybody the patty bucks and they paid us, so we made no money. We actually lost money. Shit.
When I was at the Chive and they were talking about implementing some sort of NFT coin, whatever thing. I was like, how is this? I was like,
How
is
do
this
we make
not
money?
Patty bucks? Like they're just like it's. And then an NFT person will explain it to you, and you're like, oh, so how is it not Patty bucks? And you just keep asking that, and then people stop trying to bring it to you.
There's nothing. I mean, we don't need to get into it because this is like the most, like, token white guy podcasting and talk about ever. But NFTs are just like the funniest way anyone's lost money in the last 30 years. It makes the mortgages they were handing out in like 2006.
It's our generation's timeshares.
Yeah, definitely.
You can visit a timeshare.
There is a tangible thing.
For a week.
You can still go to it.
It's more than a fucking. I'm sorry. You bought a knockoff Bored Ape, whatever thing. Like you bought the kangaroo version of that, and it gets
Okay,
you
a
access-
timeshare you buy the week. You don't actually. You still have to pay for the hotel and stuff on top of it.
I can still visit it.
You can still go.
I can't interact. What does the kangaroo card get me? Like, pay $10,000 for.
I know. That's
fucking-
why I invest in old-fashioned trading cards.
That's right.
I know you do.
Need that physical copy.
Straight up. Oh, yeah, which is just paper.
Fudge
NFTs,
this.
I guess.
Yeah.
My future ride's on a Michael Harris rookie card.
Oh man, yeah, you better start rooting for that guy. Yeah. Go Braves. He needs a World Series MVP this year.
Let's do it.
After conquering, so they did all this stuff. Then in September 871, they sacked Basra.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Good.
They sacked a little tiny marsh.
It's a port, dude.
No, it's a major port city.
Yeah.
It's like the most important
slaves
port
are in the
city
marsh.
in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Eh,
How do you think they got the slaves to the marsh?
eh,
The port.
I get it.
Yeah.
So, after conquering the city, Ali and the Zanj told its inhabitants, okay, whoever wants amnesty, please get together in the city palace and the public squares so that we can grant it to you. And so everyone was like, okay, fuck, we're conquered. Let's just go out and do what they say, and we'll grant us amnesty. Instead, they murdered 20,000 people right there in the streets as soon as they were all conveniently congregated there. It was an absolute fucking bloodbath. Then they took every ounce of treasure they could from the city and just
How'd they murder him that quick?
Knives.
swords, fire,
Blades.
everything.
Oh yeah, I would think it would have to be some type of fire,
Trampling.
Or, yeah,
So 20,000 people died, though. But
being stabbing 20,000 people that fast.
it's not like 500
Dude, the
people
mines did
doing
like
it.
2 million a day. What are you talking
Yeah, right?
about? Yeah.
Think about it this way, though, for what it's worth. I feel like you're picturing like 500 people killing 20,000 people. It's more like 20,000 people killing 20,000 people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or even 10,000 people. What, you got to stab 2 of them and one as a kid?
It just seems like a lot of congestion in the streets.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of trampling that did some work, too.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like most of the Civil War there were more Civil War deaths from disease than combat. It's that type of situation.
True. You can't give a disease your handshake for the secret organization.
No, you
right?
can't.
No, you can't flash the Masonic symbols
Right.
at the polio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh shit, he's a Mason? Let's roll.
Well, I'll shoot over his head then.
Yeah, all right. This was enough to finally shock the empire, the caliphate, into being like, oh, they're for real.
Yeah.
Still, somehow, it would take the Abbasids 8 more years before they could get their shit together enough to confront Ali and the Zanj.
Really?
Which is such
That's a
a
long
long fucking time.
That's
Like,
a lot of time
you
to set
think
up
about
roots.
if you hear the years 861 and 869 or 871 rather and 879. If you hear those years, they sound like Tuesday and Thursday.
They're not.
It's
Yeah.
so fucking long. Think about how long the Obama administration was.
Yeah.
Think about how long he was president.
Think about I'm just
Things
thinking
moved at like a fucking snail's pace.
it
back
doesn't
then,
matter though.
It's-
You're giving a rebellion time to
Human
establish
beings still
roots.
experience time the same way. The 8 years is a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time to settle, like to establish yourself in a
It
spot.
takes a long time to travel.
Not for them, not that long.
I get
They're
all,
very close.
yeah, I get all of what you're saying. The thing is, though, it's still like
And like you said, if their like forces are on the outer rim, having them come back.
Yeah, I guess there could be a lot, to Dan's point there could probably be a lot of like determining which forces need to come back in order to deal with
And
this.
then you got to get word to them.
do we let them ride for a little bit, let them build some steam because we need to finish this up, then we get to that. Like there's a lot of not diplomacy.
I get that, but like
logistics.
think about how quickly things become normal to you. So like at some point people were like, "Oh yeah, we live in the Zanj kingdom now," or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like they're not even a part of that Abbasid Caliphate.
They're
just-
allowing for legitimacy.
procrastinated. They're like, yeah, we'll get to it.
Well, they did have a lot of other shit going on. I'll get to that in a minute. But I mean, I don't know. It's like if like because it's a major port city too. Like imagine someone just like takes over Los Angeles and like the U.S. government can't even get the military there for 8 years.
Dude, that would be insane.
It's fucking crazy.
It would be like I think relatively be like if someone took over Los Angeles and we weren't there within a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
like,
wasn't a fucking
if they took,
armored
like-
division.
If they took like 6 months to get there, that would probably be the equivalent.
Yeah.
For response time.
Or I guess The Dark Knight Rises. I was always sitting there like, how the fuck?
Oh yeah, now the criminals just
you
rule the
They
town.
just own the New York of this version of America.
Yeah, at least Pittsburgh, right? Like
Yeah, that's where they shot that one.
yeah, but like they own this place now, and the National Guard can't Like the full military can't just suss out a couple crazies.
Right. That's basically what's going on here. Finally, in 879, I mean, it's really just like I said, the Abbasids, the whole thing was a total shit show. They were still going through the imperial shit, right? The power struggles, and obviously they share borders with a bunch of empires who they're fighting and stuff like that, including the Eastern Roman Empire, who was still real fucking legit at the time. In 879, the Caliph and his son were finally able to mount a campaign against the Zanj. Over the next 2 years, finally facing a real organized force, the Zanj were beaten back until they were finally holed up in their little fake capital city that they built south of Basra.
Okay.
Things were getting rough. And then a siege began of that city.
No.
During the siege, the Caliph told anyone who surrendered that they would be fully pardoned. And they did this. Anyone who surrendered came out and they would pardon them within view of the city, and then they would let them go. They were true to their word. They were like, yeah, you're good. Thanks for not fighting. Thanks for surrendering. Go live your life.
I'm just looking at where Basra is right now, just to understand it better. Okay. Right there above Kuwait.
Yep.
Yeah, where it spills out. Okay. Interesting. Wow. Basra looks beautiful.
Does it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Seems cool.
Never mind.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So finally in
Get us a hotel. Let's see what those rates are.
Pass.
Okay.
that's going to be a no for
You know I'm not going there. I can get you a hotel.
I just want to see what a night stay is.
Probably a lot like Jackson, Mississippi. I don't think you're going to the hotel bar. Probably staying in your room.
Not leaving very much.
Yeah.
Finally, in 883, the Abbasids breached the defenses of the city, and it fell. Ali died fighting with his men in combat. They took his head and displayed it in Baghdad. The rebellion was crushed, but it had so thoroughly fucked up the Abbasid Caliphate that historians think they never really recovered.
From this dipshit?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's why you snuff it out quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never really had the power they did again.
What was
that's on
so
them.
terrible that this man did?
He freed slaves.
So
Yeah. Okay, Rob. You're kind of showing your hand with this episode. Just calling-
he did it he wouldn't have done it unless it was like the best way for him to get power.
Sure, but
I think the means justify the ends.
he did nothing really terrible.
Or his ends justify the means.
What do you mean he did nothing terrible? First off, his army slaughtered 20,000 innocent people.
Listen, you got to crack a few eggs.
To make
It was
a
little
freedom
slaughter.
omelet.
He was only freeing slaves so he could carve out a kingdom and then just make money off of it.
But freedom, Rob.
Why did Abe Lincoln free the slaves?
He didn't reap any benefits, turns out.
He didn't get to.
Had his head blown off. Just like our boy, Ali.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're talking about the Abe Lincoln of the Middle East like
History doesn't.
No, there was still slaves after that.
History doesn't repeat; it rhymes. This man and Abe Lincoln, same person.
Potato, potato.
Potato, potato.
And this was like his fourth rebellion.
Baton Booten.
Hey, he got one.
He got one.
Hey, that's more than most people get in successful rebellions. That was a successful rebellion to me.
True.
If he was able to, one, carve out and create a capital and create a currency and tax people.
Yeah, if he had a thing going for 8 years, almost
That's
a decade,
a win.
He
won.
did okay.
He's probably chilling for those 8 years. What do you think?
Let me tell you what life was like under King Ali.
Fabulously.
I bet he didn't do much.
Probably chilling.
That might be true.
I bet the
but not-
reasons the problems happened is because he was kind of lazy after he got power.
Yeah, he rested on his laurels.
Yeah.
which makes you bad. But anyway, I'll read you. This is from a historian at the time. This is a contemporary writer during Ali's rule in southern Iraq. A large number of people, this is in Basra, by the way, a large number of people hid among the houses and in the wells. They appeared only at night and hunted dogs, rats, and cats. Then they ate the corpses of their companions who had died, and they watched each other waiting for someone to die. The stronger killed their comrades and devoured them. So essentially, it was
Authored by MC Slave Owner. Fucking
Yeah.
imperialist
Sounds like
propaganda
propaganda.
work to me, yeah. That's and they had to eat dogs and each other, and they
Oh.
only came out at night.
How can we
And it
make
was
these
so
people
much
seem
better.
terrible? We'll just say they're savages.
It was so much better when they lived under our rule and did get no pay.
I mean, it's a historical fact, basically, that the Zanj Rebellion killed in six figs.
How's he gonna have
Like
trade though?
Hundreds of thousands
It's
of people.
not his fault he can't open trade with the guys that are surrounding him.
Yeah.
It's actually literally his fault.
Why won't they
'Cause
just
he's,
let the
he's
homie
killing them.
It's just a bad location.
it's it's the first thing you got to think about when you're establishing a spot.
Are all my enemies surrounding me?
Damn it.
Yes.
Fuck.
Not great.
Did I make enemies with all of them myself? Yes. Fuck. All right. Better start killing.
How do I get diplomatic foreign relations going?
Yeah.
We can't.
Damn
Fuck.
it. Damn it.
The rebellion, like I said, killed hundreds of thousands of people. It also, now this isn't really well, I don't care about this. This doesn't make him
You're
bad.
just taking an
He's probably
unnecessary
going to start
shot,
talking
yeah.
about the well-being of the slaves. Like, I don't really care about this.
No,
part, but-
of the empire.
Yeah.
They lost
Today's Hitler.
ground.
Raw.
They lost ground to all the empires surrounding them, including the Eastern Roman Empire. They all made gains against the Caliphate. This was, to a lot of people, including, like, some historians say it wasn't even really a slave revolt. It was like a class revolt. There's other people that argue that there might not have been that many slaves involved at all, though I don't think that really holds water. One of the reasons is that there are still 1.5 to 2 million Afro-Iraqis who claim Zanj heritage living today in and around Basra. So there's like 2 million black Iraqis.
That's pretty cool.
They still practice some of their sort of African, East African heritage and stuff like that, but they are all now like Muslim and speak Arabic. They don't speak Swahili or anything anymore.
Seems
really.
like he made an impression. Seems like his life might have mattered.
The people that would have made the impression in this case would have been the people owning them.
Yeah.
Yeah, culturally, they probably forced a lot of that onto them. That wasn't by like, oh, Ali freed us. Let's take up his shit.
Right.
Yeah, it was more so like, hey, you're our property. You have to do this.
You
now.
live here now,
Yeah.
and I have things to yell at you.
We don't have time
You're
for
gonna understand
assimilation.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the story of the Zanj Rebellion, a humongous, world-changing event that
How did it change the world?
it sent the strongest empire at the time on a downward spiral.
Okay.
This was kind of
What was the result of that, I guess? What is the downstream effect here? Like, who takes just another caliphate and the reach gets limited?
Things change hands. This helps the rise of the Turks.
Okay. Okay, I could see that. So the Turks are able to start becoming the preeminent power within that region of the world.
Yeah, not
They could-
immediately, but
no,
the
it's the start. It's
right.
it's the butterfly flap.
they see that a god can bleed.
Fair. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just curious because I want to know.
It has, yeah, I mean, it has like massive ripple effects, but more importantly, like I said, no one's going to remember you. This was a huge deal at the time. This was, I mean, honestly, it got me thinking about how probably, like, it's a big deal to us because we're Americans and all this stuff, but, you know, we're only 160 years removed from the U.S. Civil War. People really going to care about that in 1,000 years?
All right, I'm being serious. We will print these shirts. No one will remember you.
Yeah, and it's just a face shot of no one.
No, it's just those are just words on a shirt.
No one will remember you.
Softcore history.
Softcorehistory.com. That shirt will be printed within the next week.
It's,
That's
this
a fun
was,
bit we do.
Yeah, this was fucking like this was such a big deal in hundreds of thousands of lives. A slave revolt, like a civil war that helped the quicken the rot of the most powerful empire on earth, arguably at the time. All this other shit. You never even heard of it, and not because it doesn't get enough love or anything like that. It's because just so much shit happens, and and mostly it's just you just don't care. You don't care.
I think
don't
it's
care
also
about
a
these people.
reflection of like the education system, and it's not really a negative reflection. It's just why waste your time on
Right.
this
Yeah.
in
But-
America? Like, why would this has zero impact on our lives?
But it kind of does in a weird way, right? Because if you don't have this happen, then you don't have
Yeah,
the
I'm
Turks
not-
take up, and then you don't. It doesn't lead to the Ottoman Empire, and you don't have these regional conflicts that lead to World War I.
Yeah,
Which then it's downstream, right?
I'm not claiming that this needs to be taught to American sixth graders in social studies
I
class.
actually am. I'm like, you gotta learn about this. This is how life works.
But it's
really.
just like so much shit happens, and this is like a humongous event, and you don't know about it because no one's gonna remember you.
Well, I think it's really interesting, the topic itself, not so much even the rebellion aspect of it, but how prominent the East African slave trade was. We always hear everything from the scope of the Atlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
Right. The
Which
Indian Ocean.
makes sense considering
because-
where we are.
Right, and that's what you learn about. But I think not trying to make it excusable by any stretch of the
They
imagination.
were worse, so we were fine.
No, it's like everyone was in on this. It wasn't just Britain. It wasn't just America.
Right.
Everyone, even African kingdoms were in on the slave trade in Africa. Everyone was slave trading.
Check it out. White people didn't invent colonialism.
No, they didn't. And also, there were a lot of white slaves in Africa. Like if you wandered off your colony or your little stay
I'm
place,
sure,
and you got caught by the slave traders within Africa, there were plenty of Europeans that were sold into slavery.
Spaniard.
Pretty much.
But it's just fun to be like, I just read this. I'm like, this has just had to just like, it affected viscerally so many fucking lives. And now you're just like, well, there's on slave
I
rebellion.
don't know. How many rebellions do you learn about in American history that are slave rebellions that you remember?
You don't really learn about any slave rebellions in American history.
You learn a
unless
few.
you take
There's
in
a couple.
American history. You mean like in American history classes? Not
In-
for U.S. history, like the class itself, but like
in like high
American
school you do.
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn about like the slave rebellion in Haiti. You learn
Yeah,
about
you learn about Toussaint a
what
little
is,
bit.
is Shays Rebellion even a slave rebellion though?
Who?
Shays Rebellion. That's a pretty.
So I'm just saying,
prominent
like,
rebellion.
why would this be on our radar when we barely care about our own?
Dan's just coming at you hot.
I'm saying
today.
I don't think it's on anyone's radar.
And he's saying that's incredible because it did have a huge effect on a global power.
I bet they know about this in the Middle East a little bit.
I don't think they do. I really don't. It's not like I see this and I'm like, oh, I know a ton of stuff about Middle Eastern history. I think this is a footnote.
Okay.
If at best. And by the way,
That might also be by design in the Middle East. Like,
yeah, right.
Keep it hush
I
hush.
don't even know
Yeah.
what kind of history they teach over there. But by the way, like even look at it from the point of view of they'd probably not, even if they teach history roughly the same way, which they don't, but let's just say they do. Like think about how little Americans know about American history, right? So why would a Muslim in the Middle East have a knowledge of what is definitely not a top 10 event in terms of like what they consider significant?
I know. Just play the hits.
Just play the hits.
Play the hits.
That's the things that got us here the quickest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for today. What'd you guys learn?
Learn that you don't like slave rebellions.
Yeah. You just have this grudge against this man that was just trying to free the slaves.
He wasn't trying to free the slaves. He would have killed every last one of them
Just
if
because
it
he
got
had his
him
reasons.
more sweet tax money.
Just
Yeah.
because they weren't pure. Okay? They weren't a pure enough reason for you. He still tried to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, though, where it's like what Rob is saying is the means at which he was getting what he wanted weren't altruistic. They were opportunistic, right?
But they never are, man.
Yeah.
Okay, even keeping that in mind, like even with the most pessimistic point of view, this dude didn't give a fuck about freeing slaves. In fact, he had his own slaves.
Well, that's a twist. He didn't
You know what
say
I mean?
that.
Like he was conquering people and enslaving them.
Again, sounds like
But
Abe
was he
Lincoln.
enslaving the masters? Then it's okay.
Seems like Abe Lincoln, he didn't give a fuck about freeing the slaves. Like actually.
He did.
Not really.
He would have not done it if it meant keeping the country together because that was his first job. But he was like, I do want to free these people. This guy was like, yeah, whatever helps me.
That's just being human, bro.
I guess who's today's Hitler?
Rob.
Yeah, I know you're saying.
Probably the people that brought the slaves there in the first place and treated them like shit. Enough to join what's-his-fuck and start a rebellion. Like,
I mean, I don't blame the slaves.
oh,
I'll
no,
take
like,
anybody.
they're like, fuck it, you're going to free us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
I don't
like
blame the Zanj for
and
fucking
we
joining
get to
him.
kill them?
Yeah.
All for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like the Zanj. The Zanj are the winners here.
They're the anti-Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost and then were enslaved again.
No, today's Hitler's Mississippi.
It's Alabama white sauce.
Yeah. Gross.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's stupid and dumb.
Put on chicken.
Well, that is all I got for today. Again, please like and review on iTunes. Read a couple reviews for you here real quick.
Let's
that
hear
I
them. Let's hear
enjoyed.
these
Yeah,
folks.
go to softcorehistory.com.
Check out our merch.
I'm serious. I'll make that shirt. It's an easy design.
Oh, you'll design the shirt.
I'll send it to you.
But
You
we'll,
better
like-
put it up.
Yeah, I missed the White Star Line. Sorry.
You better put it up.
Yeah, it's all right.
Or is it too late for White Star Line?
Probably.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
making that.
Man, I can't read this whole one, but it says the best factual history with the most in something I don't know. It says the user is, what the hell did I waste money on? The review, a Guido, a Jew, and an altar boy walk into a studio. The rest is history. And then Grafton Hutchins. I don't
I'm
know
not
if
Italian.
that's a real name or not. Yeah, but your vibe is
You're very
Guido.
GTL. Yeah.
like incredibly Guido. He titled it educational, and then like a bastard gave us 4 stars. Don't give us 4 stars. All right, I know it's a funny joke or
They're
whatever.
doing it now because you keep saying
Yeah, you
don't give
keep
us 4
doing
stars.
this.
All right, well, it's going to drop our rating, so please don't. We have a 4.9 out of 5. It's like an Uber, all right?
Yeah, but it's kind of cooler to have 4.9 stars instead of 5.
Feels real.
Yeah, 5 seems way fake.
It's fake as fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
He says educational. This is so much more educational than that football coach who also happened to be a history teacher we all had in high school. And then Try Jose 13 said, that back catalog, though, them tricks ain't for kids.
Ha! Yeah, they aren't.
I
Try
like the
Jose.
one underneath. If we haven't already done it,
What?
the next one.
Great show.
I think so.
It's from Stoner Einstein. Great show. I think there's some history, but who cares? There's enough witty banter to keep you entertained. Perfect if you want to learn a little without sitting in a lecture.
Boom.
Goddamn right.
There it
But you didn't
is.
know about the Zanj Rebellion before right fucking now.
Probably not.
Boom.
I sure didn't.
For Dan Regester and Jake Goldman, I'm Rob Fox.
You just got soft served.